Hey guys, Leo with Dreaming Tree. Today we're putting together the handy little gift box for our personalized occasion cards. We should be able to fit all 6 of these cards into this really cool and unique box designed by none other than our art director, Ron Gutman. So let's take a look and see. Actually, let me show you the prototype here. So it's kind of discombobulated because I was looking at it. But got a little strap here and it opens up and then there's compartments on both sides. Really cool. And we're going to take a pen and convert it into an old calligraphy pen, which is cool too. Okay, so need to put a couple boxes together and then we're going to join them together. So we've got this piece here. I've already pre-folded everything just to get stuff ready. What we're going to do is we're going to take and apply glue to these little triangular tabs. Now we do have some panels for this, and typically I would put the panels onto the project before assembling it, but because I don't want to mess up, I'll show you these panels actually have writing on them, and I want to make sure I put them in the right spot. So if you want and if you're comfortable with it, well, actually, just follow along with me here. We're just going to do it this way this time, not a big deal. Okay, so continue here, putting glue on these little triangular tabs, and you want to spread that glue all the way out to the very edge of that tab, and then just bring this up and join it with the corresponding wall here. Press that down together. You can push down on your table if you'd like, if it makes it easier for you. There we go. And that just leaves 2 more little triangular tabs. I'm going to apply glue to both of these here. And we'll do this one as well. Now if you spread that glue out with your nozzle, then you don't have to use your finger, but I still think that using the finger gives you a little more control. Okay, so tuck that behind this wall, line it up, and press that into place. Give that a good squeeze. Same thing on the other side. Give that a good press. Okay, so we've got that. Now you're going to have a total of 2 pieces that look like this. One side is going to be rounded, one side's flat. Okay, and what this is this is the little lid for the box here, and that's going to slide right in there to keep it closed. Okay, just like that. So all we need to do is glue this to this piece here. Now you'll notice that we have a letter T here on this one, and there's a letter T on this flap here. So just make sure that you line those up. Not line them up, but use the T with the T, so to speak. Okay, get your glue on this piece. I'm going to work that glue all the way out to the edge here on that, and just bring that down. Should be nice and flush with the bottom as well as the sides. And press that into place and hold. If you want to, you can open this up and press down from the inside to make sure that that really adheres all the way around. Now also, we have one additional piece, and that's this guy here. And this is just a little liner that goes inside to make this a little bit sturdier. Okay, so you can just take some glue, just do a nice thin line around the perimeter and a little bit on the inside. Don't need a whole heck of a lot there. Just slide that right in and press that down, make sure it's nice and centered. Okay, so there is box 1. And of course, again, this one has the letter T on it, so you know that that is the top. And we can just pop this in real quick, close it up, let it dry nice and flat. And we're going to repeat that same process with the other half of this. Okay, so just like we did the first time, begin by putting glue on our little triangular piece here. Work that glue out to the edges. And bring that over, get that nice and aligned, and press and hold. Like I said, we'll start putting the panels on here in just a minute after we get the boxes nice and assembled. Okay, moving on to our next triangular tab. There we go, just like that. Bring that in, tuck it behind this piece here, and press and hold. And these pieces here, these little thin tab-like structures they're just decorative, just to soften up the box a little bit. Okay, a couple more here. Spread that glue out, bring that down, nice and aligned, and squeeze. There we go. You'll notice a B for that, and that is the bottom. And the last little triangle here. Get that glue out to the edge. There we go. And I'm going to tuck that right behind. And there we go. Okay. All right, so we have that in place. You can actually put the liner in now if you want. It doesn't matter what order you do it in. Just pop it in now, not a big deal. Okay, let's get our liner in there, and then we'll pop the lid in place. And finally, I'm actually going to start, I'm going to put the two sections together before we put the panels on, just so we know the correct orientation. Now you can see this little cutout here. It's for your finger, so obviously you want the rounded end on this side. And then this guy's going over the top there. Over the Top, good movie from back in the day. Sylvester Stallone. Okay, so get your glue on this guy here. And again, I'm going to take that glue and spread it out to the very edges here. I want that to look pretty seamless. And just fold that over. Make sure that's nice and lined up, flush with the bottom and the sides. Press that down into place if you want. You can pull this out and press down from the inside. Really get that nice and connected. Great. Okay, so we've got our two main structures put together. Those are looking sharp. You can close this up. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do, you've got one box here with this guy, this little notch facing or up. And we've got this one here with the notch facing up. We're going to put these back to back, okay? And then we're going to use this little hinge, and we're going to glue this hinge between these two so that it can hinge open and closed. So you can kind of just leave it like this. I'm going to start by putting glue on this whole piece. Actually, you know what? Let's put glue on this section here. So you can get glue on this entire back piece. And this is where the letter is, because obviously we don't want to glue the end where the opening is. Okay, and let's spread that glue out to the edges. This glue is drying so fast today. Okay, and just pop that on there. Make sure it's nice and aligned. You can kind of fold this down flat so you can see and feel how it's aligned. Okay, I'm going to put this down flat. We'll see how this works out here in a second. I may need to add a little bit more glue in there. This glue is just not. I'm going to do an experiment. I've been thinking about doing a science experiment with my glue to measure viscosity. based on certain environmental conditions, including humidity. So I'm going to get kind of nerdy and figure this out, find out why glue behaves differently and what we can do about it. It's on my list. Okay, so that is much better. Okay, and now again, just make sure the notch is facing away from the inside. And now we're going to take this other half and glue it to this section here. Make sure that it's sitting upright, that the notch is up and not down against the table. I'll show you what I mean here in a second. I'm going to go a little bit heavier with the glue here because it was really drying out really quick. We'll get that glue all the way out to the edges. Okay, and then bring this over here. Get that nice and centered and lined up, just like that. And just press that into place. Now, you can take it, make sure it's centered. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, I'm just gonna hold that, and I'm probably gonna have to go in and kind of clean it up a little bit. It's a little different than what we're used to, but not difficult by any means. Okay, just gonna hold that for a few more moments. That looks pretty good. Okay, just be patient. We'll let that set. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and close this up to see how it closes. Looks good. I can put this down like so. Okay, so that's pretty much done as far as construction goes. Now you can see here, I've got a little gap there, and I don't like that. So I'm gonna clean that up by taking a little bit of scrap paper and applying some glue right into this little problem area. It's just not nice and flush like I want it. So just a little extra glue, and then just need to be a little more patient. I want that to look as seamless as possible. So at this point, it doesn't really matter which one is the top or bottom. It's pretty much identical at this point, but I'm gonna make this my top, and this panel is gonna go right here. So this is gonna be my top, okay? This is gonna open up like a book left to right, and because that's my top, I'm gonna use this panel here because, again, I have some lettering on here, so everything else is gonna go off of this as far as orientation. So I want other patterns. If you have a pattern that needs the correct orientation, make sure you base it off of this. So this one's gonna go here based off the fact that, you know, this is right side up. So let's get our panels in place here. We'll get this one glued down first, and once we got the panels in place, we're pretty much on the home stretch. We'll put the little mechanism in place to keep this thing open and closed. Just a little hinge. And we'll be good to go. Okay, now this does have, there are some markers here to help you with the alignment of this panel. So make sure you use those to your advantage. And press that down. So now again, this is why I like working flat when possible, because it's a lot easier to make sure that you get everything nice and flush when you're applying panels. But again, because I didn't want to risk goofing up the orientation of the pattern, I'm just doing this with this thing constructed, and it's not a big deal. Okay, so we do have, we have 4 panels that look like this, and then 2 that have the little notches, and that's going to be for the front here, obviously. Okay, so that looks good. We'll move over here, and we'll start putting these in place. Very simple. So let's get that glued into place. And nice and centered. Make sure you have an even border going all the way around. And we'll finish this off with a little bit of, well, with some gold pearls, I should say. Okay, press and hold that down. Not a lot of inking in this bundle. wasn't really necessary, especially because the cards have a white finish to them, and all those other colors contrast it nicely. Okay, so that is in place. We've got a few more panels to put into place. Okay, so this one, just want to make sure that I get it lined up and aligned with the previous one so that they're both nicely aligned. I can probably use the brayer too, so I don't have to squish this thing too much. Okay, that's looking good. And again, if there's any areas that are kind of sticking up, grab your scrap, throw a little bit of glue on there, tuck it underneath the little edge that is sticking up and press that down. Okay, so we'll move over to this side here where we have the two little cutouts. And you can see that's how we want it, like that, with the lettering or the pattern, whatever pattern you may have, going the same orientation, same direction. Get that glued into place. Very simple. This is also going to have a nice even border all the way around, so make sure you get it centered and it has an even border. That's not going to work. There we go. It's coming together. Almost done here. Okay, next one. I don't know if you can hear that wind howling out there. Okay. This one's going here again, centered, even border all the way around. There we go. And then we'll just move over here and get the remaining panels in place. Okay, so moving on here to the last side. And again, just making sure the orientation is correct with this pattern. Got two more. Then we also have the large panel for the bottom, the other half of our little compartments. And then we're going to do something that we've never really done before, and that's work some glue onto a pen to create our little calligraphy pen. Old feather pen. I don't know what the actual term is. I probably should have looked it up. Okay, so that is nice and centered, looking good. One more to go here. Okay, so this is going to make a really great gift. If you need a reason to get into the craft room, make something, just kind of get into your Zen mode, or just de-stress, not sure what to make. This is a great little project. And you can make, like I said, you can make all 6 cards along with this handy box to store it in, and gift this entire thing, all the cards, to someone special, or just keep it for yourself. There's a lot of stuff that, as much as I want to just keep everything, it's just, you can't. You can't. So I always look for reasons to give stuff away, occasions, whatever it may be. Someone does something nice for me, I can just pay them back with a little gift card, or a set of cards like this, or a little centerpiece, some decorations, whatever it may be. Okay, so these are in place, these are in place. That's looking great. That opens up. These open up, beautiful. Okay, so as I mentioned, there's one more panel here. So now this little cutout, obviously you want it going this way, so it's on the same side as that cutout. So let's get that going. My glue is about to retire. He's like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. this glue bottle serve me well. Okay, so get your glue around the perimeter and then a little bit on the inside, nice and quick. And there are little guides here to help you with accurate placement of this piece. So follow those little markers. There we go. Press that down. Make sure it's making good contact all the way around. Okay. And then all that's left to do is put our little strap on so that this thing stays closed. I've got some Velcro. Oh, there's Velcro in there. There's my Velcro pieces. I'll show you how that works here in a second. Okay, there we go, beautiful. So now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna have it glued. It's this guy here, okay? And, well, first thing we need to do is I'm actually gonna do it this way. So we're gonna have it opening up like this. The Velcro is gonna be on top. We're gonna glue this to the bottom. So I'm flipping it over to the bottom. There are some little markers here to help you with the placement of this. Now obviously you want the edge of this where it folds to match up with the edge of the box itself. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put glue on just this section. You don't wanna put glue on the middle section or the top because it needs to be loose. So we're just putting glue on this section here. I'm gonna spread that out nice and thin, all the way out down to the fold. And I'm gonna pop that on there. I'm gonna use the little fold as kind of a guide and get that centered and press that down into place. Make sure if you're using gold foil like I am, just make sure you don't have any glue on your fingers as you're doing this. We'll press that down and hold it for just a moment. And actually, you know what, most of this is gonna be covered up by a white piece here, so not a big deal. Okay, and now what you can do is if you have your Velcro, because the Velcro goes on the bottom of this, so we're gonna put the Velcro here and we'll peel off the backing. We want this nice and tight, so get that nice and tight up against the box and then fold it over and press that down. Okay, so you can see it's already holding it in place and we can open it very easily like that. Okay, so I've got my Velcro on there. Now I need to get this piece glued down. That's the center. Okay, I'm gonna start with the actual center of this section here. So we're gonna put glue here. Okay, and just make sure you have that nice and centered so you've got a nice even border on both sides. There we go, just like that. And press and hold that down. Use the folds there from the score marks as a guide as well so that you know you have it lined up correctly. Okay, and now I'm gluing cardstock to foil, so sometimes you want to be a little patient with that and not rush things. Let that really set because foil is not very porous. It'll stick, but has a tendency to shift around a lot if you are not patient. Okay, so there's that. We'll glue that down. And I probably could have centered that a little bit better, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Still looks good. And then down here, same thing. Peel this back and apply your glue. And bring that over. Press that down. There we go. Okay. Hold that in place for just a few moments while it sets. And now again, the side where we put the Velcro is the top. Okay, so we can open that up. Now you may not be able to see it here in this video, but on your top piece, you're gonna have little cutouts here to help you with the placement of this little holder that is gonna kind of hold our pen in place. Now, before we do anything, we wanna kind of train the center of this to make it round. And I'm just taking it and just wrapping it around a 3/8 inch dowel Okay, and we kind of want it just like that. I'll show you here, just like that, okay? So that you can fit your pen in there and it holds it in place. So again, use these little markers here to help you with the positioning. We'll throw some glue on just these pieces here, not the center, just these guys. Okay. And just pop that right into place using the little markers. You're gonna have to squeeze this together, okay, just to get that in the right spot. Okay, and once you have it in place, if it helps, which I'm sure it will, grab a dowel and press down right at that very edge there where the fold is with a dowel. It's kind of hard to get your finger in there, but you want that to be as flush as possible. Okay, and just be patient. There's a little resistance there. So help it out by just kind of pressing down. And again, that is when we finish our little pen, it's gonna hold it in place for us. So it's kind of cool. Okay, so there's our beautiful box, and all that's left to do now is put together our, our little feather and get that glued to our pen. So we've got two pieces here to make our feather, and I'm going to go ahead and train these petals, or I'm sorry, the tips of the feathers here. I'm used to saying petals because we're always training flowers. And kind of train that back and then curl these up just to give them a little bit of dimension. And then we have a secondary layer that's going to go on top of that. And I'm actually going to, I think I've got that kind of curled back. So I'm going to curl this back a little bit so that when we glue this down, like so, it'll sit nice and flat. And we've got this little two-toned effect going here. So throw a little bit of glue on the inner part of our feather here. Okay, make sure you get that coated with glue. Don't cake it, just coat it. All the way down to the bottom. And this glue is starting to dry up. The nozzle's getting caked. That's okay. Okay, and this is going to go flush at the bottom, so start there. Get that lined up. Press that down and follow that all the way up like so. You can press down flat, it'll bounce back into its correct position here in just a second. There we go. Okay, now the best thing to do here is going to actually, you'll see there's that little tip of the pen there. We're going to glue this to this area here. I'm going to cover up any wording that we may have on there just to kind of keep it simple. So I'm going to put glue. Let me see, does this whole thing need to be covered up? Yeah, it does. So we could technically just throw a nice line of hot glue on this entire thing, all the way up and down. Just go thin. I'm not a big fan of hot glue, as many of you know, but we'll make it work. Okay, so get that nice and lined up, right up to that little area there. Make sure it's straight up and down. Don't get a lot of time. That's okay. That's good enough. Okay, and then all that's left to do, because we're not going to leave it like that, we have this little piece here that we're going to wrap around the whole bottom right up to that point. And to make it easier on you, you can take it and begin just kind of wrapping this around the dowel first, just to kind of, well, loosen up those paper fibers so that it's not so hard to work with it. Just like that. And we're going to take this and just wrap it around the pen like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on the very edge of this piece here. Whoops. Oh boy. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. That's fine. And we're just going to wrap that all the way around, nice and tight. And my skin is burning. It is on fire. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm not very graceful with the hot glue here, guys, but that's okay, because it's pretty much dry now. I only got a first-degree burn, and there you go. Okay, so there you have it, and that probably could have turned out a little bit better, but that's all right. Okay, so that's just going to slide right into this guy here, like so. Hold our little pen in place, and that's it. So take a look at the final photo of this guy here to see where we added some little embellishments just to kind of jazz this up and bling it out, but that's it. So again, we got 6 beautiful cards that are part of this bundle, and they'll fit in here beautifully. And again, what a wonderful gift, or just even for yourself. I'm really actually loving this. About 10 minutes a piece per card, so you've got about an hour there, and then this one's going about 30 minutes, so in an hour and a half. Beautiful little gift, great way to spend some time in the craft room making something for yourself or for somebody you love. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the process. I know I did. If you did, visit our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, and while you're there, hit the little bell so you get notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be free or paid. And if you make this or anything from our bundle or the whole bundle, I would love to see it, and so would the rest of our dreamers. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or you can type in this little URL here at the bottom and it'll take you straight off to the group. But anyway, cool little piece. Hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to crafting with you again.